Hey, buddy, watch this.
Hello, hello, Regis Kilvin is the name, and Hearthstone is the game, and this is a deck spotlight on a deck I'm calling the Faceless Handlock by a player named ShtanUdachi. That's a heck of a name, but he's a professional and popular Hearthstone pro who has been playing this deck list on the ranked ladder, top 100 legend, right now as I make this video, and it's a pretty cool variation on Warlock that's not being played a lot lately. This is essentially a handlock deck, which is the old school control style Warlock that was popular before the card Reno Jackson was introduced, and turned most control style Warlocks into Reno Warlock decks. Of course, Reno's so good with Warlock because you can life tap, get to a low health total, and then recover with Reno, and you have so many great value cards and access to so many cards through card draw that you just start to win the game in the late game. This deck does it a little bit differently, since you don't have that kind of release valve of Reno that just bails you out at the end of a game, or sometimes even in the middle of a game. This deck relies a little bit more on proactive board presence, primarily through taunts, so you can play big stuff like your Mountain Giants, your Twilight Drakes, and you've got them more consistently as well, because you'll note there are 2 included in this list, as opposed to just 1 of every card in a Reno Jackson list. So you've got those big minions, you've got other stuff like your Faceless Shambler and your Faceless Manipulator to essentially copy those minions and get other big statted minions. And you've got all your taunt givers with Sun Fury Protector and Defender of Argus. So essentially, between your big guys, your 4 taunt givers, and then your Faceless Shamblers, which are basically both taunt givers and big guys, you have 6 big taunts, 6 times you can play big taunts for a total of 10 potential giant taunt minions, because these can each taunt 2 each, right? So you can have some very big scary stuff. Plus, this deck runs a lot of very consistent removal. You get things like 2 Hellfires instead of 1. I think if you've ever played a Reno Lock, you've been in that situation where you're playing against a Shaman and you just don't have your Hellfire. So even though you play Reno, you just can't deal with their board and you lose. This deck doesn't have to worry about that because you have more consistent removal. You've got 1 Shadow Flame, 2 Hellfires. You don't have Demon Wrath, but you've also got early Doomsayers, 2 of those. So, and 2 Shadow Bolts, right? All these things that contest the board in the early game and help you recover and set up a big wall of taunts in the mid to late game. Plus, you've just got your value minions and hard removal down here. And Lord Draxus, of course, is your ultimate win condition. He can be a 14-point heal, but once you start pumping out 6/6 dudes every turn for 2 mana, it's almost impossible for your opponents to beat you. So it's very much an old-style handlock. It is susceptible to things like burst damage from hand, so it's really bad against like mages, for instance, that can just hit you for 13 with 2 fireballs and a ping. It's bad against really aggressive shamans that might have a couple lava bursts because they don't care about your taunts. They just ignore your taunts and go face. But those things are a little less prominent in the meta right now, particularly with mage, which isn't around at all, or at least very, very little. So other than like Hunter, which can just hit you really quickly with their hero power and burn you down over a few turns, and kill commands, most decks don't have that reach. They rely on minions and minion combat, and this deck excels at minion combat and removal. So even though it only has a couple heals like Refreshment Vendor or Earthen Ring Farseer, and I guess Siphon Soul and Draxus to some extent, it can still keep up and basically build a giant board that you don't have to live forever because you're just going to kill your opponent in return over a couple turns with Mountain Giants, right? So a couple different win conditions and a pretty neat list, and plays differently than everything else out there right now. So let's go ahead and take this Faceless Handlock by ShtanUdachi. ShtanUdachi, I can never say that name right. I don't think I am anyway. But let's see it on the ranked ladder and see just how it performs, because I think it's going to be pretty fun. It's been a long time since I've played essentially what is an old school handlock list. And that said, the deck has a lot of decision points, and that's why it was always popular among pros. And any given turn, there are probably 7 different things you could do, the first choice of which is usually life tapping. So it's a high skill deck in many ways, and can be challenging to play well, especially if you're rusty like I am. So keep that in mind if you make some weird decisions or miss some obvious things. So as far as the mulligan is concerned, Mortal Coil is not actually the best, but I do just want some flexibility if he plays like an Argent Squire or something. With this kind of hand, we definitely want to life tap into 2 and to turn 3, and just play these on turn 4, probably the Mountain Giant specifically. Without the coin, that actually works out better because these will be 4 mana on 4. Sometimes if you get the coin, you're going to burn a card if you tap too much, so it can be awkward. I'm happy to see the Sun Fury. That's going to be relevant to taunt up one of these guys. The Mountain Giant's usually better to play first, right? Because its cost is dependent on the number of cards in your hand, whereas the Twilight Drake, its health is dependent, and you don't really care if it has 7 or 9 health. That's usually not that significant. But this taking an extra turn or 2 to play is way more significant. So you want this out as quickly as possible. So thankfully he didn't have a buff, so he's not actually applying a ton of damage. This is one of those unusual situations where we can actually Mortal Coil, right? We have 8 cards right now. By Mortal Coil, we'll still have 8 cards. And we'll still be on curve for the Mountain Giant. So there's really no reason not to Mortal Coil this, just to see what we get. And he's going to assume we're Reno, right? Like, he's probably going to try to kill our minions a little bit and not just go face all the time. So until we play a duplicate card, we don't really give him information on that. So that's actually a kind of trickery incentive here we can mess around with. He'll play the Flame Wreath. But we actually are going to play a dude that's just a little bit bigger. He probably won't trade. He'll probably just go face. And that's reasonable. That might lead us into a Shadow Flame. It might lead us into just a taunt and trade. We'll have to see how it goes, though. The real problem is that we do take 10 damage right now. So we're going to be at 12. So if he has Lava Bursts at all, it's going to be a challenging game. He's going to trade with the Tunnel Trog. That's pretty good. Stormcrack into Tunnel Trog. He's not going to trade. That's insane. Why would you do that? He just wasted a... He knows I'm going to trade. I could Shadow Flame, right? I don't really think I want to, though. This is doing 4 damage. Lava Burst is going to kill me soon. I can trade Shadow Bolt. Taunting won't help, right? That's probably why he Stormcracked, is just to deny the taunt. I mean, it makes sense. I get it. Mortal Coil doesn't do a lot. Hellfire hurts me pretty bad. Life Tap Shadow Bolt, it's pretty risky, but I do really want to kill this because it's going to hit me for a lot. It's worth more than a heal. And then next turn I can Twilight Drake Sun Fury. But we do have 9 cards in hand, so I'm going to Shadow Bolt first. Actually, let's see. We have 9 in hand. Is that what I said? 4, 8. Yeah, we can tap first. Okay, cool. So we'll Shadow Bolt now, and we'll trade now. I don't love not having the board, right? But he's overloaded by 1. So it's going to be 1 Lava Burst at the worst case, and I think we can just play these together next turn and then start thinking about heals. If he doesn't play anything, I'd almost consider Thorison, but if he plays a minion, I can't risk taking more damage. That's actually pretty annoying for us. We want him to be out of cards. I don't think he runs Lava Burst, though, if he's running Stormcrack. So we're probably okay when it comes to, like, burst damage. We could Refreshment Vendor. But I want to be able to kill stuff soon, so I'm just going to Twilight Drake while I can. I have a lot of cards. It has high health. If he runs Earth Shock, like, that's insane. That used to be the downfall of Handlock against Shamans, is they just run Earth Shock and they'd kill your Twilight Drakes and you'd be out of board. But nobody runs Earth Shock anymore, so he's just going to have to power through this stuff. And that's a really bad trade. He didn't even have Overload for it? Oh, that's a mistake. He should have Overloaded first. And he's missing 2 damage on this now. That was an error. He could have hit for... I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know if he's thinking this was Elemental Destruction or what. That was a weird decision. I'm going to Shadow Bolt that. It's certainly worth it. And Refreshment Vendor's fine too. Just because it's on curve. Honestly, though, we could maybe just Thorison. We have a really good hand. But this has to die, doesn't it? Yeah, that has to die. So this is the best line. So we're in a great board position, clearly. He's used a Lightning Storm. But that's not that good against us anyway. We have so much high health stuff that it's usually not going to be very relevant. We might have to just Power Overwhelming that with the Refreshment Vendor here. Yeah, we can actually tap Power Overwhelming Mountain Giant. Let's go ahead and do that. We got another Taunt guy. That's really good. So we sacrificed a minion, right? But it's worth it to kill that. No problem at all. He gave us the heal. That's all we really cared about. You can't be too stingy with taps. Again, I don't think this guy runs Lava Burst. He probably doesn't even do Hammer. It's just a standard mid-range Shaman is my guess. So we can look for a value Shadow Flame at some point if he loads up the board. Oh, he drew the Hex finally. It's pretty good. But he knows we're not Reno now because we did use 2 Mountain Giants. He used the Hex. I'm going to play Sylvanas. It might eat the second Hex if he has one. I doubt he does. I could play Thaurissan as well, though, and just do the same thing. I guess I'll just Thaurissan. It's not the best hand to reduce, because there's no, like, Jiraxis or anything. Jiraxis is a pretty good card to reduce. But I don't think Sylvanas is going to be able to steal anything soon. And she sets up for a pretty cool Shadow Flame if he plays something big, but I don't think he has anything big enough to even Shadow Flame. But she might enable me to steal like a 2-3. This might look weird to some people, but I'm actually going to heal this guy instead of my face. I don't want it dying, right? I want my taunts up. He'll probably run in here. Our hand, we need to tap a little more. But until I see a Siphon Soul or Jiraxis, I don't want to go too low just in case there's some sort of shenanigan, right? That would be cool to steal. I don't think we'll get to, but it'd be pretty cool. We can actually... Oh, he does have lightning bolts. Jeez Louise. Ugh. That's not good. I need a heal now. Now I'm nervous. Now I wish I'd healed my face. Ragnaros. Yeah, I can actually steal the Azure Drake here. And I think we will. No, I can't. No, I can't. Never mind. I was going to trade in a Mortal Coil it, but if I trade in a Mortal Coil it, it'll be dead. So never mind. I'm not going to steal the Azure Drake. I'm just going to trade into it. Put Sylvanas at 1. Might play into like Lightning Storm or whatever, but I think I'm just going to Rag and try to kill him pretty quickly. And I'll play this right here actually and just... I'm going to go ahead and taunt it up. I don't think it's necessary, absolutely, but we have another Taunt Giver. Mostly worried about killing him quicker, so I want to put as much damage out as possible. Mostly to make trades to make Rag hit face. Because we could die like Lightning Bolt. I don't know. I don't see how we die if he has like Doomhammer. Fire Ellie to face could have hit us, but since he didn't, that implies to me he doesn't have anything close to... Why didn't he Hex the Rag? That feels wrong. So we have 10... I think I'm 1 damage off lethal, right? Because I have to kill this. This is going to hit 8 to face. If I trade, though, I only have 2 more to face. And that's 10. And oh, I can double Hellfire for the kill, I guess. It's a little scary because it puts me at 1 health, but I just have to... We're both going to be at 1 health, but Rag is going to hit his face. That's pretty funny. Don't life tap, boys. Alright. That was easy. 1 health victory from a double Hellfire. That's an interesting application for Hellfire, right? It does damage to everybody, so you can sometimes just kill your opponents. There might have been a cleaner way to do that, by the way, with like trading and Mortal Coil. I didn't really think about it that much. Once we found the Hellfire, it doesn't really matter. Lethal is lethal is lethal. So we'll try again. I really like this style of deck that's like ruin yourself for like 4 turns, just do everything terrible, kill yourself, and then like stabilize, and your opponents just have no chance. For Warriors, that's a little more problematic, right, because they have Brawl. So you can't just always build big boards, unless it's Dragon Warrior, in which case they don't typically run Brawl, and we can just go nuts. And they'll have to send Chargers and stuff into our minions. But they also have Execute, which is bad against big guys. So a couple downsides with Dragon Warrior. Shadow Bolt's great, though, against Frothing Berserkers, so... it's Cthulhu Warrior. They have Brawls, so this is going to be a challenge, right? We kind of have to play around Brawls. It's an earlier curve Cthulhu Warrior with Beckoner of Evil. Not all of those actually run Beckoner, so that's intriguing. Looks like a weapon's going to come out. We do have the coin, like I mentioned last game. Sometimes that can be annoying. Us eating a lot of damage right now is also annoying. So I'm actually going to Shadow Bolt that. There probably aren't a lot of better targets in Cthulhu Warrior anyway. They don't run like Twilight Elder. The 4-2 is not good Shadow Bolting. I just needed to clear out a card. I mean, I wasn't going to overdraw without tapping, but again, I don't want to take a ton of damage. So this looks like it's Dogs Cthulhu Warrior, which has a much more aggressive anti-aggro curve. It has like more card draw, Battle Rages, and Gnomish Inventors and stuff, as opposed to like late game. But I think it runs 2 Doom Callers, so that's really scary. We need to actually steal Cthulhu with this combo, I think, to win this game. And we also need to not die to Cthulhu, which currently looks like the scarier challenge. So I'm going to go ahead and not taunt this up because it's too easy of an execute target. I'm just going to Refreshment Vendor. I want to be able to take care of all these like mid-rangey minions before I start going into taunts and stuff. I want to save that till his executes are gone. Like, I want to bait out the executes on just high-value stuff. Thorson actually looks really good next turn just because we have a lot of cool combos and stuff, and Jiraxis and Taunt Givers, and this thing, if it's cheaper, could matter, right? 8 mana is better than 10. But we need to steal his Cthulhu, basically, to... Is he going to double execute right now? There's no way. Oh, no, good. He would have thrown the game if that happened, so glad. He did actually set up a trade here for me a little bit, but we don't have a great way to take advantage of it. That's good to see, because we may actually need a heal here shortly to stay alive against Cthulhu. If he draws this Cthulhu too late, I think we'll be fine. I think this deck only runs 1 Brawl, to tell you the truth. I actually think I have it pulled up here on a second screen. Let me look real fast what this deck list is. Yeah, it only runs 1 Brawl. So after we see the first Brawl, we'll just be able to go nuts. He'll trade here, but he may not have an easy way to kill this. He may have to execute this, which would just be insane for us. Slam trade? Double trade? Or is he going to execute? Or X, second X. That's pretty good. Still going to execute. No way. Oh, just Blooddicker first. And then he's going to trade. Axe face. He probably thinks I'm running like some sort of combo, but we really don't have any damage in this deck. We have Power Overwhelming, I guess. Rag, sort of damage. Huh, so I have like a dilemma now, right? Like, what do I do? I need to save this for Cthulhu, I think. I don't have any big guys to play. I can't Rag. I can life tap Farseer. I guess I have to. Yeah, I'll just Doomsayer Farseer. He can clearly kill the Doomsayer with what's on board, but that's just a 7 health heal to me, right? And this is hard for him to deal with, so... And it just, you know, wastes his weapon. There's all kinds of advantages to just playing this out. We can Rag next turn, maybe, but I don't know. If we go below 15, there's... Jiraxis actually makes some sense. Just to start pumping out dudes. And taunt them up. On 8, he might play... Sylvanas, okay. I'll just Power Overwhelming kill that, I think. I could Shadow Flame. We do have the second Shadow Flame. I could just Power Overwhelming face Shadow Flame into Doomsayer. Yeah, I kind of like that. Let's just Power Overwhelming face. I will need the second Shadow Flame, I guess, eventually, but... let's life tap first, but I think the Doomsayer pretty much has to be the play. Oh, that's cool, but I won't be able to afford it. So we're at 20. That's not too bad. He won't be able to play Minion this turn, which is good. So we can probably Rag. Even Jiraxis. Well, no, Jiraxis we want to play when we can also Hero Power the same turn, I think. He can't develop a weapon because he's used both axes. Maybe this deck runs Gorehowl? I don't... no, they don't run Gorehowl. He's had enough Cthulhu activators to play like Twin Imps and stuff, but he's not going to send that out to Doomsayer. He only has 5 cards in hand. That's pretty good for us. So yeah, Hero Power Pass. That was an amazing Doomsayer. It's like one of the sickest Doomsayers ever. I'm just gonna do this, I think. Rag is exciting, right? But I guess Rag's pretty good against Cthulhu because it puts my functional health total at 28. And this Cthulhu's only at 10, so there's like no chance it kills Rag. Let's just Rag. And we can taunt it up next turn if we want with another guy, right? This applies a lot of pressure, actually. We're, you know, with Jaraxxus we could do theoretically 11 next turn. So here's the execute. Just to be expected. Like I said, I want him executing non-taunts to the extent that he can. That we can, I mean. We don't trade very well into that. That's sort of annoying, isn't it? I like this. Do we life tap first is the question. I think we probably do. We could Jaraxxus, but there's 8 damage on board. And even if we summon a dude, what's this Cthulhu at? 10. He has 3 cards. If I went ahead and Jaraxxus right now and summoned a dude, he could trade. He couldn't do execute or anything. He hasn't had any cost reduction. So he could trade, and he'd have 12 damage with Cthulhu. But we can't steal Cthulhu yet, right? We could summon a dude, Sylvanas, and taunt it next turn. Jaraxxus is kind of intriguing just because nothing else trades very well right now. Like this will be a 5 even with a buff here. So they'll both be 4 attacks otherwise. Like they will have how much health? Oh god, oh god. I'm just going to take the safer play because I don't feel like I've had time to think about this enough. Let's life tap first. I don't think I've had enough time to think about that turn. I don't think it's right. I think maybe Jaraxxus trade is better. Play a dude. I was just a little worried about Cthulhu, and this puts the most health out. Plus, you know, we still have heals, so sometimes Jaraxxus is... What the heck? We're not dead. We can't possibly be dead. You can trade. This is at 2, which is actually not easy for me to do. But we'll figure it out. Twin Imps. I really need the Shadow Flame now, I guess. Jeez. Second Shadow Flame, anybody? Mortal Coils. Only good I have spell power. Actually, it's good. I can taunt up. And let's see. This is 7, 8. Let's life tap again. This is risky, I know, but by God, we're going to do it. So we'll heal. And then we'll taunt. That's 7 mana. Mortal Coils, 8 mana. We can kill one of these guys at least. It's not the best turn in the world, but... especially because of this trade. Do I actually just want to not taunt this? It goes to 6, and she can trade so easily. I taunt here, this goes to 9. It takes both of them, or an execute. Yeah, this is kind of sneaky, but it has the potential to pay off quite a bit. So let's actually try it. Because he might, I mean, he can trade here, but then this doesn't have as favorable as a trade, right? I don't know, we'll see. Probably not worth. Yeah, I think it was probably better the other way. Because she's going to trade this way anyway, so I probably just missed out on stats on this guy. He should probably be a 4-6. Yeah, and these two don't actually trade into 6 health either, they just do 5. So yeah, we probably goose that a little. We're forcing his hand to some extent. He can't attack with this one, right? He has to attack with a higher damage guy, but... Execute Shield Slam. Okay, that's gonna come eventually. He's got 10 damage. Are we just dead? Seriously? There's no way we're dead. No, okay. Cool. We might be able to work around this. We cannot work around being dead. Okay, so Hellfire trade kills everything but Grom. But that's 4 mana. That only leaves me with 6, so I could like Earthen Ring, Sun Fury. I die to stuff like Jaraxxus brings me back up to 15. I can kill this. I go down to 11, but then I can't kill this. That doesn't help. Taunt up this guy just dies to Grom. Could taunt up Sylvanas. Try to steal a dude. That might be the best play. Hellfire clear though. Is that good? Grom goes to 4. It's great if we have a Shadow Bolt. I could Hellfire. Ugh, I don't like this, but we gotta try it. He doesn't have any cards, so I actually think this is the best play. I think this is the best play. I don't know. All he needs is a shield slam or an execute activator, and we're dead, but this sets up a favorable trade at least. Yeah, he's got the clear X. He top decked execute. Jeez, really? Come on, man! I guess Cthulhu probably killed us too. Well, it's not guaranteed though. Man, he had the activator and the execute as his last two cards. That was tough. I wasn't expecting Grom. I'm going to take a short break and be right back for a couple more games. All right, let's head right back in and play, I don't know, one or two more games. I think this deck's really cool. That last one was a little unfortunate. Top decked lethal in a way. We would have stabilized. We had the trade on Grom. We had Jiraxis. Like, that was just the turn. We might have misplayed on the way. I mean, there were clearly way different lines of play the whole way through. And that's what makes this deck so interesting, is it's really deep and fun to play. And I think you could probably learn a lot about yourself as a Hearthstone player just by playing 10 games of this deck, recording them, and going back and watching them. And with the hindsight of knowing how your turns played out, seeing what lines of play might have kept you alive differently. In fact, that's an exercise I might embark on. It sounds pretty rewarding. That's why, decks like this are just so cool. They're just deep and rewarding to succeed with. We got the Greetings Traveler. I don't know if that means he's aggro. I don't want to read in too much into the emote meta, but I have a feeling it means he's got a good hand. So we're going to be taking a ton of damage on the way to some playable cards. That's a good one to see, though. We'll play this into the taunt, probably. We get blown out by things like Kill Command. Oh my god. This is the problem with this deck, right? We might be able to stabilize, but against Hunter, they always have the hero power. Actually, I think Hellfire is just better here. We go to 12, but we do have the refreshment vendor. But the problem is the Mountain Giant just dies to the board, so playing it out feels really terrible. We need to limit like a Houndmaster, for instance. Going into turn 4, it's especially significant to not let him stick a beast. All right, so we'll have the vendor here. I don't think I can afford the Mountain Giant because he has 5 damage showing, right? So I don't know. We may have to Siphon Soul this turn just to stabilize a little more. He's counting on us having Reno, I bet. So he's trying to kill me right now before we get to Reno, but we don't have Reno. So that's not really... Oh my god, don't be Huffer. It's not great either, but at least it's not Huffer. So we can Siphon Soul that. That's actually good that we can just Siphon Soul it. We don't have an answer, though, for the incoming High Main. I wish I had a Sun Fury Protector. The Defender of Argus is kind of intriguing, right? Because I can trade, but that leaves this as a 2 health minion. And I can't do anything else with my turn. I guess I could Doomsayer, but that's not really even that exciting. I want to Siphon Soul and Doomsayer, but I clearly do not have the mana. So I think we just have to Siphon Soul and hope for the best. We do not have a High Main answer still. If we had a Sun Fury Protector, I'd be happy. We could just taunt up. But we don't have a Sun Fury Protector. We can taunt up this and the Doomsayer. That's really not very exciting, though. Because it would theoretically clear the board, but it'd leave him with 2 2/2s, right? And I can't trade in a way to facilitate their death. These cost too much. This costs too much. So I think I have to taunt up a Doomsayer. But this leaves me without a Taunt Giver. So there's just no other play, though, right? Couldn't copy the high main to taunt. I couldn't rag. Can't Hellfire. So, I guess we'll do this. I taunt it so he can't hit 8 to face and kill me, clearly. But also because I don't want him to play some minions afterwards. The problem, again, though, is that we still don't have a following turn. Sun Fury Protector would be amazing because we could Mountain Giant Sun Fury. But I also need a heal soon, like Jiraxis or some Earthen Rings. Like 8 is just not enough. He can just kill command hero power and put me up 1 and finish me off next turn, and I literally can't do anything. So couldn't even life tap. And he'd have 4 damage on board that I still have to address. And I think that's what's going to happen. It looks like that's exactly what's going to happen. That's kill command, or quick shot maybe. Double quick shot, almost kill. Oh, yeah, that's literally what's going to happen. We just called exactly the outcome. This is exactly what I said about Hunter at the beginning of this video. You just can't deal with it sometimes. I can't even life tap into a heal. I can't Mortal Coil into a heal. There's literally just no outs. Can't Mortal Coil myself. She would have been a good draw 2 turns ago. But unfortunately now she's not a good draw. That sucks. Hunter's not super common. We'll try again though. We'll try again. I mean, this deck is really not so much an anti-aggro deck as it is like an anti-mid-range deck and a good control deck, right? Aggro can just run you over, especially if they have spells. It's actually not too bad against Zoo, although Zoo can also run you over just because they have Power Overwhelming that's so efficient at trading. Here we'll keep these to deal with things and play the life tap game, of course. Actually, we may not play the life tap game with Doomsayer. We might just Doomsayer on 2. It depends on what he does, right? If he doesn't play anything on 1, I might just coin life tap. Because the coin's not ideal for the Mountain Giant anyway. That's actually not so bad anyway. It's not something that's going to kill a Doomsayer, right? So why don't we just coin life tap here? I would expect the Totem Golem to come out next turn. I'll Doomsayer. He might be able to kill it with like Rock Batter or a Lightning Bolt, but it disrupts his turn 3. And if you Lightning Bolts in particular, it will cause him some problems. For turn 4 Flame Wreath, which we don't have an answer for. If he Lightning Bolts, it's pretty good. But I think he'll have to Totem pass. Totem face pass. That's what I hope. That's what we're really hoping for. If not, we'll Shadow Bolt this guy. It looks like he doesn't have it or he would have snapped it. No, he does. Why did that take so long to figure out? My god. So the Doomsayer was just a 7 health heal there. Not honestly the best play ever, but not the worst. Flame Wreath's gonna suck, but we can Twilight Drake into it, but I don't even know if it's gonna have enough health. Might set up a... oh good, thank god. That's the one thing we didn't have an answer for, was the Flame Wreath, so... He had an okay turn 3, but a pretty bad turn 4, which is good news for us. So we're not to our Mountain Giants yet, clearly, because we were messing around too much with other stuff, but this guy's totally fine. He may even Hex this, which is still fine because it's just slow and it gives us turns. We won't be able to play these next turn, unfortunately, but I hope he trades and we can Mortal Coil, or at least somehow Mortal Coil this. Still no Mortal Coil, I guess. He has Hex. He's thinking about it. That's what he's sitting on 3 mana for. Maybe... no, he might be thinking about Feral Spirits. I hope he Feral Spirits. We have Hellfire. It's really good. I think this is too quick of a Hellfire. Like, it's not bad because we could Hellfire Mortal Coil. But it might just be too quick because he doesn't really have a lot on board. And I can now Faceless Shambler, which is just really good. Gets me a 4/7 taunt. Next turn, we'll be able to play one of these if we want, but I have a feeling Hellfire is going to be the play. He has to Hex this, I think, if he has Hex. we need to draw more cards. I mean, we've had stuff to play every turn, which is cool, right? But we don't have a lot of resources, so our decision is limited, and decision making is really important with this deck. You gotta have decisions. So we just don't have that reactive of hand. This is pretty slow. So this guy made the right decision with Lightning Storm. Did it first. Oh, tough roll so far. Oh, Flame Tongue will clean up though. That's fine. At least we do kill this though, and he doesn't have a trade here yet. He might have another Rockbiter or something, but he does. No, Primal Fusion. Well, that's pretty good. Stole my Mortal Coil, bro. You stole my Mortal Coil. Normally you'd want a Mountain Giant here, right? But, well, these only do 7, I guess. Trade is 7. Is the Refreshment Vendor any better? So we could life tap first? I don't think so. Let's just do it, right? He only does 7 because of this positioning. I mean, he had to because his Argent Scar's in the middle. He shouldn't have put it in the middle. He should have put it on the outside. With that current board, anyway. He should have put the Tunnel Trog in the middle. Because the Tunnel Trog, when it trades in, dies and moves another minion into its slot. The Argent Squire does not when it makes a trade. So anything that you don't expect to die or you don't want to trade in should go on the outside edges of your Shaman plays. It'd be a totally different game if he had put the Tunnel Trog, because I wouldn't be able to play this. Oh my god, Hellfire is going to be ridiculous. He's going to Rockbiter, but I don't care because Hellfire is ridiculous. Because he's out of cards. Right. He's just totally out of cards. Oh, I wish I could play both, but I can't. I'll life tap first, though. We're going to go low, but I don't really care. We have Jiraxis for some recovery and the Refreshment Vendor, so his board is just smoked. Next turn is probably Twilight Drake Refreshment Vendor, unless Rag looks appealing somehow. It's kind of scary because we don't have a taunt, but he has used both Rockbiters, so at least we can kind of know what's coming, right? We're not going to get the 16 damage burst out of hand. So yeah, we'll... Oh, we got the taunts now, boys. We got the taunts now, boys. But we'll just heal up, play some dudes. He's going to not be able to deal with these. But we can like Faceless Manipulate the Drake and then Faceless Shambler the Drake. I don't think I'll have the mana to Mountain Giant Shambler. That'd be pretty cool. But I don't really need it, right? We're winning this game incredibly hard right now. Just because both Rockbiters are gone. If he had both Rockbiters, it'd be a little iffier. But he doesn't. So we're just really winning hard. Ah, he hexes. That's smart. It's good. He attacked correctly as well, attacking first. Well, it didn't matter. He has 2 charges, but... yeah, let's just Mountain Giant. Pass. This will set... I'm not going to life tap. I don't need to. I have everything I need, right? I can Shambler that and copy it. I can life gain with Jiraxis if he goes all face. That has to be dealt with. That's really scary. Yeah, so I'll Mortal Coil this first, just see what I get, see if it changes my play, but I have a 9 mana play I'm looking at. No, we'll just go here, and I'll go ahead and Faceless this, and Faceless this, and at this point, since we have such a big taunt, we can just go face. We have 27 damage on board. I'm not trading into a 1/1 Squire, right? Even a Hex doesn't win him the game. Hex... Lightning Bolt is... Actually, Hex Lava Burst does maybe win him the game. But instead, we win the game. That was the perfect turn for a deck called the Faceless Handlock, right? It was Mountain Giant into Faceless Manipulator into Faceless Shambler, and that's why I named it the Faceless Handlock, because this isn't old school Handlock, right? This is the faceless version of Handlock. So, pretty cool win. We actually just destroyed 2 Shamans. So if you're feeling that Shamans have gotten you down on ladder, this deck seems to do some work. Hellfire is stupidly good. against Shamans, obviously. Plus, there's some other cool tools here as well. Doomhammer's not that great when you have to attack into an 8/8 Mountain Giant. So, pretty cool. I like this deck a lot. I love Handlock. I think playing this deck will make you a better Hearthstone player. Even if you don't always succeed or win as many games as you should, you will improve at the game. And sometimes that's more important than just climbing a couple spots in the ladder, right? So give the Faceless Handlock by ShtanUdachi a try if you've got these cards. Pretty cool, fantastic, fun, and challenging deck. That's going to do it for me. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, game on.